Happy Thursday to everyone who is going to sit here and watch this beautiful show tonight. I'm excited. I really am. The guest I'm about to bring on, I spoke to a couple of weeks ago, about a month or two ago, and we had a really good conversation. First time that Brennan and I actually talked, and we spent there's a closer part to an hour, I believe. Brennan and I spoke and had a really, really good conversation. Talked about some incredible things that both of us are trying to do. And last week, while I did my live, Brendan popped on and shared a couple of great nuggets. And I had a few viewers reach out to me and say, "Hey, I'd like to learn more about what Brendan's doing, how he's doing it." I reached out to Brendan. He said, "Yes, let's do it." So super excited to have him on tonight. It is November 9th. I hope everyone's having a great, successful season with their Christmas light business right now. Leads are just coming in left and right. And it's just really with the mindset of where we were going into the season with the economy and everything, everybody thinking it might slow down. We did lose a few customers here and there. That's kind of like a natural attrition, but we are still on the rise and haven't had any issues keeping the crews busy. 5 crews busy, 5, 6, actually now 6 days a week. So incredibly grateful for my team, for the community and all the support for everything that we've been doing. Started working on All Is Bright, and that will be launching in 2 weeks. So that's been keeping me busy. But without further ado, I'm going to bring Brennan in. We'll talk to him real quick. There he is. Hello.
Hello. How you doing tonight?
Oh, man. Brent, I was out working on my walkthrough show, and I thought we were meeting at 6. And so I left early, which I really wanted to see. I put some new RGB stars on these trees I built. And I was like, look, I cannot be late for this. I'm like anticipating this talk. I'm excited. You and I talked what was it, like 2 months ago we talked? It had to be 2 months ago.
Yeah, it's got to be before the season. So, yeah.
Yeah, we talked about, the pink lights for breast cancer awareness. We'll get onto that here in a second. But, it was the first time you and I actually got on a call, and we just talked and we talked and we talked. And there was so much great stuff. And you spit out all this incredible knowledge and the things you're doing. And like, you are light years ahead of where I want to be right now with what you're doing. And like, I'm excited that you accepted my offer to come on here and share all this information. So I'm looking forward to learning with everybody as well. But real quick, for those that don't know you, why don't you talk about you, yourself, where you're located, and what you have going on right now?
Great. So I'm Brennan Morrow. I own Christmas Lights Factory. We've been installing Christmas lights for about 18 years now, with ups and downs. We started our business focused on LED Christmas lights. This is way before LED was a thing. So it was a whole different model back then. But our movement was to create energy efficiency in the holiday lighting industry. And so that's now the standard. So I feel real proud to be a part of that first movement. And we bring light to people's lives from the Christmas lights that we install to everybody we touch throughout our journey.
I love that. It's a beautiful message. And, a lot of folks get into the Christmas lights for different reasons. I think more now than ever, it's probably because it's kind of a very trendy thing. So it's real fun to be able to speak to experienced installers who have been in the game for years. And I've only been in 7 years. And I got into it for various reasons, more so the fact that I grew up obsessed with Christmas lights and the fact that I could light up lives one light at a time. And more specifically, not so much for the customer that we're doing the project for, but for the customer or the person driving by who maybe couldn't afford the lights or had a bad day and happened to see our lights, and we're able to impact their life for that specific moment of them seeing the light is why we stay so passionate about our projects and don't focus so much on like, well, how many houses can we do and how much can we do? It's like, how much of an impact can we have?
Yeah, I'm with you there. Some of our favorite jobs are the ones that we donate. And there's a job called Grandma's House. It's for young mothers often kicked out of their home and they're pregnant or giving birth, kind of that phase. And so we would do an amazing lighting array on their home. And you could see them coming home at first with their heads down. It's a hard knocks life, especially for where they're at in life. And they look up and it changes their personality. They just
Yeah.
feel that hope that, there's something positive out there.
Yeah, it really is truly incredible the impact we can have on lives. And it sounds silly, but for those that have been in the business for a while, and excuse me, I'm going to try and share this post real quick with a couple people so we can get some more people on here. But the impact that we can have on those that can't afford it, those that just whatever it is. And you do that house. That sounds like an incredible cause. We do a house that's houses those with autism. There's 2 trailer parks or trailer homes that we do every single year. We do a lot of work for the military. As a veteran myself, I do Gold Star, veterans, disabilities, things like that, parents that are deployed. And it's just so much fun and so much of an impact. And it's like, why not though? Like if we had the resources and the ability to be able to do that, and just by going out and sending a crew out for 2 hours, an hour here or there, put up some lights and be able to change lives, like there's no better feeling than that. So it's incredibly like powerful to be able to collaborate with yourself and others like this, because when we talked about the breast cancer lights that we did back in October, we've been doing this for the last 4 years. I think this is the 5th season, I believe. And it started out as 1 house, then it was 2 houses. This year it was 5 houses, and we actually did in front of a school because there was a couple of teachers there that were going through it. Like that just really starts off the whole season. And put up some pink and white lights. We send our crews out there. We're doing 2 things, right? One, we're impacting lives. Light Up for Hope. We're supporting the Breast Cancer Awareness Month. We're raising awareness for those that have been battling or have been through it. We're also training our team. So we're getting out there doing work and talking about the install and things like that. But then when we get these messages coming back from those that we did those lights, and we don't expect that, but they do. And they just say, talk about these amazing warriors having tears from their eyes because they see the lights at night and all those things. Like what an incredible feeling that we can do just year after year and be able to touch so many lives that way.
Yeah, I followed your lead this year. After our conversation, you shared the pink lights thing. So 2 days later, we deployed it full force. And our goal was simple. We're going to do five houses with pink lights. I had oodles of them, so why not? We ended up doing 20 because the stories were just phenomenal. I couldn't say no. I mean, the heartfelt feeling that many of these cancer warriors were going through, they often felt alone and left, kind of by themselves during their process to good health. And it's a really hard journey. So in turn, what did we do? We just kept going.
That's incredible. Like those numbers are insane that you're able to do that. So kudos to you, man.
Yeah. Well, I couldn't say no. I really did want to stop at some point, but the stories were just so hard.
And that's what it was at the beginning. It was like, let's do 1. All right, then let's do 3. And we didn't get the response that like if we had 10 people, I would have done 10. And we did some marketing as far as, put it on Nextdoor and everything. We want to get it out there, and we just want to be able to light up lives. And I get it, because originally, like I said, it was 1, then it was 3, then it was 5. And I know we did not get more than 5, and we did 5 plus the school this year. And had we got 10, we probably would have done the 10, just because of knowing the response or the impact that we are having on those lives and the awareness that we're raising. So it's absolutely incredible. And let's do this. We'll call our shot. And next year, Brennan, come August, let's do the campaign, and we'll do the campaign and call everybody out and say, hey, how many houses can we light up this year? And just raise awareness. And even if we got one more installer every single season to add one house, and we were able to light up 500 houses next season, That's pretty cool.
Yes, I went with that, and I reached out to other installers across the country, and many jumped on board and volunteered their labor. And I said, I'll provide the materials. If you'll do the labor, I got you with the materials. And so we had 5 different companies jump on board, and I'm not sure if any of them actually ended up with pink lights going in, but the idea was there was a lot of support. They truly believed, because that's what we're doing. We're bringing light to people's lives. And there's a bunch of us in this community that the money is nice. That's a thing. But that's not our reason. That's not why we do what we do. Why we do what we do is to bring light to people's lives.
Yeah. And I think that's very important for anybody that's getting into the light industry. Like, I get it. Everybody's jumping on the bandwagon right now. We've seen these installers just multiply year over year right now. And there was one other company in my area when I started back in 2016. Now there's like 15 of us, and it's just abundance, and everybody's out there. They see the easy wheel and they want to jump on it. But that's great. Do that, but do it for the right reasons. And one thing that I talk about over and over and over is like, you only get one chance to get this right for your customer, because when they go and do that big Christmas light reveal and they're out there and they turn the lights on, they got Facebook Live on, they got the neighbors over, grandma's there, and Clark's in the background ready to light those lights up, and you turn those lights on, it's a big wah and it's a big flop. Like, you don't get that chance back. Like, you can't do it tomorrow night and like, let's go fix it. We'll do this again tomorrow night. So just make sure as you're starting your company, you're doing it for the right reasons. You get the proper training, you get the crews out there. And like I tell all my guys when we start training, it's like, you will never walk away from a job and say, it looks okay. No, there is no okay when you're delivering a Christmas light experience. So, all right, Brent, let's get going. Let's say hi to Trevor. What's up, Trevor? Trevor's down in South Carolina, good friend of mine. So anybody who's jumping on, feel free to go ahead and just drop some comments below. Make sure you accept StreamYard's access so we know who you are. So I don't have to see Facebook user. I can't guess who you are, unfortunately. And if you have questions, ask questions. If you want to jump on the live, let me know. We'll shoot you the link. You can jump on and talk with Brendan and I. But Brendan, so incredible company. You said 18 years?
Yep, 18 years now.
All right, 18 years. Talk to me about your team. How big is your team? Let's talk about your install team and your admin and sales team. How do you work that?
So our team right now, we got 26 total. So we have 5 teams out there. Let me see if I'm counting right. I just brought on some more. 6 teams out there, running in 2 or 3 man combinations. And we have sales staff from around the world that are working the sales pipeline using what other people are calling virtual assistants, but really they're just part of our family. And we work remote for the most part. We're able to do 95% of our estimates virtually. And so we have a real streamlined process to that. So our inquiry comes in, okay, then a salesperson gets assigned to the inquiry. There's an automated sequence that we're going to engage the customer until they actually engage with us, and then that moves into the salesperson's work with them. There's also manual calls in there, and we're trying to make it as personable as possible. Then once they come to the point that they get to the design phase, there's 2 parts to that. Either one, they go to a virtual consult with us, where we do an online meeting, and we have a real high close rate once we get to that point. We literally design the lights using Holiday Home software with the customer virtually. They love it. They're like, oh, what if I do this color? Sure, we can do that. And it's just really fun and engaging. And then, if they don't do that virtual meeting, they're just going to go right to the estimate part, where we send off the design to our design team. They take the measurements, crop everything up, make it really beautiful using the Holiday Home software. And then we deliver the quote to the customer, and we get a yes or no. Well, then we go into a follow-up sequence where we're going to get a yes or no. We just don't quit. We're as happy to get a no as a yes. We just want them to be at the end of the pipeline.
Right.
And by doing that, we can do a ton of estimates. So currently we have 456 estimates that we've done this year. So we can machine them out. And
That's
then we're
incredible.
somewhere around the 28% close rate right now on those new estimates.
Standard. Yeah.
Yep. Pretty standard number at the end of the day. But when you get so much volume, it just means there's more closing.
All right. So let's break that down. You get a lead. Now you have a call center. You said pretty much, right? Somebody's answering phone calls.
Yeah. So I can even show you. Let's just get right to.
Let's do it.
Share some screen. Okay. Let's see here. Share screen. Okay, here we go. So we'll start off with this one. This is off subject a little bit, but this is my son, Keegan. Okay, we're doing a job in Brasada Ranch. This is probably 10 years ago. He's hanging lights. Back then, we didn't have screw-in bulbs. They were string lights. But we're installing. So he's in the Army now. And a fun little side thing that happened when he joined up, he left in about August that year. And so before leaving, one of the family friends said, I'd like you to put a green light up at the peak of my building, because he had permanent lights for green light event. And that really touched me. So then come around, October, November, I put it out to all our return customers. I said, hey, would you like to green light a vet? This is the green light a vet project. And there's a big story behind it. So then customers from, all kinds of customers had us go back and put a green light at their peak or all their peaks. And each one symbolized a veteran and their family. And it really helped us to take this thing that's just Christmas lights and put a real emotional, a real connection with our customer to this that means something more than lights, because that's what it just means, more than lights.
I love that, man.
Yeah.
And if OSHA's watching, this was 10 years ago, you said, right?
Yeah, 10 years ago. He is on a rope, just so you know. He's fully on a rope there. And he was goofing on purpose on that one.
I love it. I love that. That's cool, because you got to hang out with your son. I was actually hanging out with my dad today, hanging some Christmas lights. So it's fun getting the family involved.
Yeah, all my kids grew up doing Christmas lights, and one of my sons leads a team now. They started at like 10 or 12 years old. They'd come out on the weekends, and then slowly got, they were making exceptional money. By the time they're 14, they're as fast as any of the pros, and they've got paid like that. So probably too much money for a kid.
All right, so you got some big numbers on here. Let's talk to me. What do you got going on? And what is Tau Tau? Is that what it is?
Toa Toa.
Toa Toa.
Toa Toa. It's a place in New Zealand. A good friend of mine, we went mountain biking there, and it was our call to focus was Toa Toa, because we were mountain biking through this beautiful area, and you had to stay focused or you would die. And so Toa Toa is one of my businesses, and this is our toolbox. So in our toolbox, we got a lot of different things, but it's focused around the office side of stuff. And it also works as our primary CRM. So a lot of stuff going on here. Of course, this is just dashboard that we're looking at right now, conversion rates, what's in the pipeline, and so on. But what's happening is that we basically have a feed of information, people contacting us, right? They're coming in through our feed here. They're assigned to different users, and those are our sales team. Now, once they come in, they're actually in workflows. And so if we go over here, we're going to show you what it looks like for somebody coming in. So let's say they fill out a web form, okay? So there's a bunch of triggers that might trigger this event, but they're going to go through a sequence where we set up the job or set up their order, and we begin communicating. Then we have if-then sort of statements. So if the customer has filled out a form that has a lot of information, an AI bot starts communicating with them, right? And starts trying to engage them. So I don't want to waste my salespeople time, because we're going to be closing, probably overall somewhere around like the 18 to 20% of all our leads coming through. So there's going to be, that's one out of 5 are actually going to move forward in the right way. So why waste a bunch of energy calling these people over and over again when only 1 in 5 is going to close? So the system here basically does that for us. And there's different sequences that are going to happen depending on what kind of information they've given us or what kind of interaction they've gone with. But you'll notice they end up at manual calls anytime that we get past the first contact, basically. Some of these might look like a text message that says, "Hey, I'm your personal designer. How can I help you?" Or a welcome email that's going to go through and welcome them and then tell them a little story. Actually, it's funny. One of the things that we welcome them with is the video you created many years ago that was so great. It was just a 1-minute video. This is what we do: put up, take down, maintain them, and it's just a great video.
Love that.
Yeah.
Now I remember doing that to you. Yep, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, because you've sold some videos and they're great. They're good content. That one right there is just, it saves so much time. Just watch this video. If this is what you want, I got you covered.
That's cool. I'm glad I'm part of that pipeline.
Yeah, you're well in this pipeline. So then they're going through, basically, we're trying to engage them. There's different sequences, but we might go tell them, don't trust us, right? Don't trust us. Trust our customers. We're the highest rated Christmas light installers on the Northwest. So you can trust us.
It's funny. I just had a conversation I was at a grand opening for a local bar tonight before I came here. And a customer came out to me that he just moved, been a customer for 6 years now, 5 years now, just moved, and we're installing his lights tomorrow. And he owns an insurance company. And him and his wife are saying, "We love your emails. Like, they are so personable. They're funny." And he even said, "How can I get in touch with that person who did those for you?" And it wasn't just like, "Hi, I'm JC, buy our lights, blah, blah, blah." It was like a story. And the next one was funny. And it was like, "Hey, just, want to make sure you're still alive, blah, blah, blah." Like, that right there, it matters, because it's not like just black and white. "Hey, I'm Brennan. We want to sell you lights. Buy our lights. Call us back. Bye." So, like, that is so important to have an incredible follow-up system that a customer can relate to. And it's not just like, "Oh, opt out of this right now."
Yeah, exactly. That's this whole sequence. And I might redesign it from time to time to tune it even more, because we want to make it as personable as possible. But also, we don't want them to, not think we're communicating with them in some automatic too. So we try to keep it both clear. And so this is just one example of how they would onboard. Now, each of our sequences are going to be similar to this. So once we get to an estimate sent, we're now going to follow up with them. And in the off season, we'll follow up with them for about a month, and then we'll close them out. We'll say, "We're closing your file." And then when they close out, we send them some stuff that's like this: "Hey, we get it. You didn't buy from us. No big deal. I have free courses. It's the same courses I train my employees with. You can watch them right here. And if you want to buy the materials, guess what? We already got your quote, so I can turn it into a DIY. And you can call me if you want. Here's my number." And just make it super personable, because sometimes this is too expensive. I get it. I don't know if I could buy this service, but if you can't buy it, no problem. I'll give you all my expertise and knowledge for free. All free.
How many actually buy the lights from you?
We get a handful. So we have an Amazon store. So one aspect is the Amazon store is just kind of running away selling product. But then we have the DIY, and we have maybe 20 or so in the DIY funnel that have gone through, 20 or 30. Mostly they don't end up buying. What they do is they get the quote for the materials and go, "Oh shit, that was a lot of money. I'm just going to hire you to do it." So then they just come back and get hired. So,
Love it.
Works out. So then, going from here, how do we get the work done? Right. So sure, now we got the sales system. It goes off to estimate. We get really nice estimates out there. But how does that kind of sell? Well, I built a custom app specifically designed around what we do. And so what you see right here is our current install done map, right? So you can see we got dots all over and they get really dense. The color coding represents the team that has actually done the work for them. So each of these different teams is kicking out as purple's team is killing it. If you notice, they're my killer team. And so is the elk team over here on the valley side. So how do they get to that point? Well, we have a dashboard, right? So this is a mobile app that each of the installers have. And so I don't assign jobs on a calendar. So what we found was when we moved from a calendar appointment structure to a territory or a structure like we have now, it was a game changer. Our productivity increased by 40%. And the reason is that a team could come on this map in the morning. Oh, and also, I'm not wasting time delegating my teams. They self-delegate. Like there's no me saying go to Joe Bob's and then go to, you know, Bob Barker's place or whatever. They come in here and they select the job. So if I was here, I might select this job, this job, this job. The color coordination on the new installs represent the size of the job so that they can quickly say, okay, I can do like 5 small jobs. I can do 1 medium and 3 smalls. So they put together their list. They check the job out. Now, when they check the job out, the customer gets notified that X team checked out your job, the team leaders, whoever, and here's their phone number if you need to get a hold of them directly. They're going to be there within 72 hours. So then, bam, the team shows up, does the work. Then when they're done, they close the job. Customer gets communicated again. Job's all closed. Double check the work. If there's anything wrong, we got you covered. Here's your team leader. You can talk to them directly or always talk to me. Now, since each of these customers is assigned to a salesperson, that's their personal point of contact. So if they come back to the office and say, oh, 1 bulb's out, they're talking to Joanna or they're talking to me or Melody or whoever's on the team that is their point. And then we say, okay, we'll get that fixed. Then they go on for repair. There's a process behind that where they get notified, okay, you're on for repair. Repair should be done in 72 hours. Just hurry up and wait. We're going to be there. And then when the repair's done, check that it's all good. Thank you very much. Drive through.
All right. So 2 questions since we're before we get dive too deep into the rest, because I'm already blown away. Like you showed this before, and now I'm like, all right, how do I sign up? Just take my money because I'm ready for 2024 to get on board with this. But one, how do you pay your teams? Are you paying them commission based, hourly? That's going to be a big question.
Yeah, let's just get right to it. Let's see their numbers. Okay. So we have teams all over. They're production-based payment. We have contractor teams, and then we have employee teams. Now, they're going to see different things. I'm in admin mode, right? So we can definitely see in admin mode everything. Now, if they were an employee, they'd only see their employee. Now, how do employees get paid? They're getting 25% of the job. Okay. So it goes their bonus, 25% minus the hours they log equals their remaining bonus. They have to get to the end of the season. This is from Vance, actually. Brand, I took this from him. He didn't pay his guys out. He paid them minimally until they got to the end of the season. Brilliant. So if they don't get to the end of the season, they don't get their bonus. So people that aren't showing up on Mondays and stuff, they're not going to get to the end of the season. They don't get their bonus. All of a sudden, everybody shows up on Monday. And so that's how their employee model. Now, our subcontractor model, they have a different percentage breakdown because they have to carry their own insurance, et cetera. And so they're getting their percentages of their work here. Then we have takedown earnings. So at the end of the season, the takedown teams all have an amount they'll get earned. Basically, they take down their jobs that they did. Since they put them up, they're the best ones to take them down. So that's what we suggest. And then for our management team totals, for our contractors, they get a stipend for managing those jobs because I'm not in this for the customer for 1 year. Like I don't need to charge astronomical amounts of money the first year. because I want a customer for 10 years and their value is going to be $100,000 by the time they're done with me. Right. So I'm not looking at them on year one, that they're going to be, however much a foot. Right. That's irrelevant. I'm looking at them, what they're going to cost in 10 years and how much is going to be made. So that's why team management's really important, so that teams have that incentive to manage their clients and keep them happy.
Now, your 25%, is that right off the total, or is that after everything is paid out?
Off the gross. So we were started as a lease model. And now you can have, of course, lease or purchase model. In a purchase model, you're going to sell them the lights and then you're going to have labor, right? So you're going to have these two line items. Or in a lease model, you're going to have the first year price and then a discount for second year generally, right? Ultimately, they're very similar. There's just a little bit of different communication that happens. Now, since we're a lease model, what happens is in the first year, they're full price. In the second year, they're 25% off for preseason install. So the model goes that we do all this work in the season, and then we move them all into the preseason. So then what that means is that we have all that extra labor to do the new work in the new season. Then we take all those, and so we keep doubling our team size or something close to that year after year as we grow.
So what do you consider preseason? September or October?
September 15th to October 31st.
Okay. So that's a huge discount.
Yeah. Off their gross total, we give them 25% off. But since the materials are already purchased, it's very similar to a purchase model.
Yeah, because we do 10% from October 1st to the 15th, and then 5% from the 15th to the 31st, or 16th to the 31st.
Yeah. Yeah, and you're in a hotbed too. North and South Carolina are kind of a hotbed for lights. So you're in a
I love it. I love the numbers. I'm sure your team loves what they're so. Now let's go back to that though. You said the bonus, they got to stay on the team the whole install time. So what are they getting? Pretty much, you said 1 to 2 man teams you're running.
Yeah, mostly they're 2 to 3 man teams, and sometimes 1 to 2 man teams. They got different ways they'll arrange.
So, a 2-man team, that's 25% is split between the two guys.
Yep.
And then so how's that break down? Like, what's the bonus at the end if they make it through the season, and what are they getting until that bonus?
So they make $25 an hour for the hours they log. Now, sometimes the teams will log less hours because they want more in their bonus. So they'll literally clock, work 8 hours, but clock to 4 hours, knowing they're going to get it at the end of the season.
Interesting.
Yeah, and so it's been a very healthy thing for all our teams, because part of my job, my job is to lift others up, right? And so lifting up my people is important, and getting them financially sound is very important. I will get the benefit if everybody else wins.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And then the big thing is retention, though, is having them come back year over year. So what's your retention rate right now?
100%.
Everybody's coming back?
Everybody's come back. So it's been weird because I know people are training hard and such. I also haven't done trainings in 4 years because my teams keep coming back, and how they structure is the team leader often will create a new team leader. And so to lift up that new team leader, the new team leader now takes on a big role, right? So now we have 2 team leaders that once was a team leader and a kind of apprentice.
That's so cool. I love that.
Yeah.
It's hard, though. It really is hard to find somebody to say, hey, work for me for 3 or 4 months, and then find something else for the next 8 months, 9 months, and then come back. So to be able to have that for them to see the value in coming back and say, hey, it is worth me just finding something midterm or part-time for the next few months just to come back for you guys. Speaks volumes about the service that you're delivering to your customers, the company culture that you're delivering to your team, and just how much you take care of them. So, and we're fortunate this year. We had 3 guys come back, and they said they had their job say, "Look, I know we're slow. I'm going to take the next 4 months off, 3 months off, and I'm going to go work with these guys and come back." And that was huge for us. But that's not every year, and I'm grateful for that.
Yeah, we have some niches too that we've gone into, and now little disclaimer: my biggest competitor in my territory is Eric Cole. He's freaking awesome. Like, he kicks my ass. Like, if we were on a race course, like, he's the guy that runs like 10, like, he's gone at the beginning of the race. You're like, how am I going to catch this guy? But then since we both, and he might say the same about me. And so we're always competitors. We're competing against jobs all the time, but we're also good friends, and especially in this industry. It is stressful. I don't know if anybody else is feeling it right now. It's stressful. And so having a buddy that you can cry to a little bit and be like, oh my gosh. So Eric Cole has similar way he pays his teams, very similar. He's a sale model. So, and we compete in the same area, but what's happened over probably, I think we've been really good friends, maybe 8 years, is that there is no other competition in our territory. They can't keep up. Our prices are affordable because we're competing against each other, right? And our teams are well paid because we've trained them well enough that they are really good at what they do. And we're just competitive. And so, his teams get paid similar to mine. His top teams are doing similar kind of numbers that my top teams are doing. And really, we don't have people that want to go off on their own. The reason is that we make them way more money working with us. Like,
right.
My install teams would make way more than they would ever do if they went off on their own, because I got a whole system here helping them.
Without the stress. Yeah.
Without the stress. They just, without some stress. They don't have
right. Yeah. There's always stress, but not the outside stress they don't see.
Yeah. Yeah. So they keep them way happier.
And then as far as the takedown, what's the takedown pay?
7%.
Okay. So you're giving up about 32% per job for your teams.
Yep. And then our contractors more like 40%.
40. Okay. And then what's your as far as the contractors, where are you pulling those guys from?
So the contractors are a smaller group. I started off as a contractor model and have moved into the employee model as we've grown bigger and bigger. The contractors are now the contractors from years ago that are still sticking with me. One is my nephew, and he runs multi-teams over on the Valley side. We have one other over here that's doing the contractor model, and he's been with me 5 years now. He's a top producer. He'll probably bring in $150,000 this year. So he makes his entire year's income during this season, and he makes me oodles of money. So it's a good partnership.
Yeah. So you talked about competitor, and I hate the word. I mean, there's some guys out there. It's funny because Courtney just chimed in with a hi, and Courtney and her husband Josh, great people. Just really got close with them in the last year, I guess. Went on vacation with them in July to Florida, and they do an incredible job with lights. There's another company around here who's been doing just the only other company who's been doing it longer than me, and we talk occasionally. We talk a lot though. Very respectful of each other, and 2 different business models. He's just straight white lights, nothing else, but does really good work. And then I had a guy today that just started doing lights in the area, Mike Rhodes, and just happened to see a text come through my phone that says, hey, I'm at Lights for Decorators picking up lights. Do you need anything? We buy lights from about 2 hours away from us. And sure enough, like today, I'm at the office and they said, "Hey, we are out of spritzers. Like, done. Like, there's none left. We need them now." And I was like, "All right, well, I'll order them." So he just happened to message me. He's like, "I'm here. What do you need?" I called into the office. I said, "Hey, I need this," and then he freaking delivered it to me today. So it was like so cool to be able to see that where we can respect each other to the point where like we're helping each other out. I said, "Whatever you need, ever. I don't care what it is. I got you." I actually talked to him about the training that he went to up there 3 weeks ago. So competitor, say it how you want to be, but like I like collaborator. And it's just good to be able to talk to people and have a great relationship and support them. Courtney and Josh just got featured on the news last week, I think it was. And it was a job that we lost last year to them. But I was so freaking excited to see that, one, they got it and not some like hack. And for them to get celebrated by the news. Like, it was so cool to be able to see that and share that win with them.
Yeah. Yeah. Similar with our competitors. We've really had a great, Eric is just a great friend of mine, delivered materials to me. I've delivered materials to him. Similar. We just got each other's back. My boom lift broke down. And so he's like, "Oh, I got this boom till Saturday, but if you need it, I can arrange it for you." So just, good help.
Yeah, no, exactly. Because you never know what bind you might be in, or at the point where I would rather say to a prospect or potential customer, "Hey, we cannot do the work for you. Either one, our minimum is above what you're looking for. Two, we're busy, whatever it may be. But however, we have a great company in the area that can help you." Instead of saying, "Huh, yep, no, you're not our customer. Have a good day. Bye." Like, no, like to be able to hand that customer off to somebody else in the area that can still deliver that 5-star service to them, and they be forever grateful and say, like, "Look, Patriot Elimination couldn't do the work, but they were able to refer us to so and so." That's a huge win for us, because not only did we pay for that customer in the first place through a lead, whether it's Google, Facebook, whatever it might be, but that didn't go to waste if that other company that we want to work with is able to get them. And then it goes back and forth. I had somebody else reach out to me 2 days ago and says, "Hey, look, this job is just outside my scope of work. I can't handle it. Here you go." Cool. Like, I love that. Like, thank you. And if we can't do something something that's maybe we're too busy or can't take any on work, I'm going to send it to you. So collaboration is key.
Yeah, agreed. So Eric, for example, passes me all the tree jobs. We got really good trees.
So he hates
every tree. That could be said. I won't lie. But we do great work in trees. It's put us as kind of the company that does trees in the Northwest now. And so we do colleges from one side or the other. But really, him giving me those jobs helped me to become really good at them and real efficient.
Yeah, no, that's key. That's like your niche, though. Like, if as long as you're good at something and can build and just grow with that and be very efficient at that, and like that's my. I did in August. I was at the huge convention, and it was pretty cool because not only was I able to do research on my own company and see our growth over the last 7 years, like it was just so fun to see how I think it was 2019, 2020, we had 20 employees, 22 employees. 2020, we had 20 employees. And our growth from 2020 to 21 was pretty tremendous. And we lost part of our team. So our efficiency got better, our capacity increased, and we're able to be better at what we're doing with fewer people. So that's just a matter of the training and just growing that team to be able to grow the company and scale without adding more to the team side. So it helped the overall net.
Yeah.
All right. So incredible stuff so far. I want to get back to your system here in a second. What is your average ticket, if you don't mind me asking?
About 1,500.
Okay. Solid. Love that. Can we jump back into the pipeline and talk about? So you have your sequence, you have your AI sequence. I'm going to throw this back up here if you want to move things around.
Yeah,
Your
let's
AI
jump.
sequence when the customer comes in. At what point is it your virtual team or stateside team? How many stateside call center or call representatives do you have versus overseas?
I would say we have what would be equivalent to one. So
Okay.
so we have me, I would say I'm a half-time person in that role. And then Melody, my wife and partner, who's been doing it all these years. And so she's half-time in that. So
And
the
then what
rest of
about?
it all goes overseas pretty much.
All right. Now, are they doing video calls or phone calls?
Yep, all the above.
Okay.
Video and phone calls. So we can look here if we go to About Us. So this is two of our core team. They've been with us 3 years. So this is Joanna and Ernesto. They're in the Philippines, outside of Cebu City. So
I've been to Cebu.
Joanna,
I've been to Cebu a couple times.
really, I haven't been there yet, but probably this year. So
Yeah, we're going
so
in
Joanna,
April.
really?
Yeah.
So Joanna came to us about 3 years ago, and I had started. It was right around COVID, and so I'd started an Amazon business because I was like, "Oh man, service businesses, we're all going to crash and burn. I got to move to a different thing." Worst idea I've ever had. Right? That was so wrong. But I swang for the fence, started an Amazon business, did all this learning, hired on some virtual assistants to help with this really heavy data backend stuff that goes on there. So Joanna was one of those folks that I did, and I had a test process that I brought them in. And her backstory was that these kids here, her mom had just died of COVID, and it really hit the Philippines hard. And so she wanted to be with her kids because life is fragile and short. So she quit working at an Amazon call center and put herself up on maybe Upworks. I think I was using Upworks at the time. And so she applied for my job, and she did great. She started out, she did the stuff. I basically had 3 or 4 people doing it, and she was excelling beyond the rest. So then I give her a bonus because at that point she's making like $4 an hour, right? It's really small amount of money. So when she completed something that was valuable, I gave her like $50 bonus. So she took her $50 bonus and went in and paid for education to be better at what we were doing at the time. So I was really impressed with that. So time goes on, and we moved between the different businesses that I have, and we kind of need help in the sales side. So I bring her on in sales side, and her husband Ernesto here, he was an engineer, but the Philippines were hit very hard work-wise, so he's out of work. Well, he's also like a video editor guy. He's done that in college. So all of a sudden, he starts taking on a lot of these loose-end jobs as I'm developing a way to create tasks and keep track of tasks, with his team. So Ernesto, being an engineer, has an excellent eye for Christmas lights. Like he's got the measurement down. He is brilliant, just top notch. Cranks out tons. Like he'll crank out 30 estimates in a day.
Jeez.
And he thinks he's never hit the limit. Thing is, he's never hit his max amount. He thinks he can get to 50 in a day. And these are professional, great estimates, from $1,000 to $10,000 estimates. So after their first year, at the end of the season, as I showed you the bonus structure, there's a bonus structure for the sales team, the design team. So they got paid their sales commission, which is based on U.S. Money, or what U.S. people would be paid. So they bought a house on that first year. It was their 5-year dream to buy a house, and that bonus gave them the ability to buy a house. And so they continue to excel. They then buy a car in the next year, a big thing in the Philippines, not an easy thing to come by. And so they've really excelled in life, and I'm really happy to be able to help people. And this is just one example of how we can help with our money.
I love that. And, a lot of viewers and, talking about virtual rock stars for years, and I've got 5 on my team. doing various different tasks. My video editor, God, he is incredible. Alex is just fire. I've got Sarah. She's my actual integrator for Patriot Elimination. We've got somebody answering inbound, outbound calls, and another one working for our mastermind group. But like the hardest thing for some is to get over, like, well, they don't speak English, or they're not, their dialect, and it's going to sound awful. Like, how is that for you to grow this and kind of just talk about how great they are at what they do, and you don't even look at that?
Yeah, so knowledge is key. So Jonna, she excels as a salesperson, does an amazing job. She does have an accent, which would be almost like Hispanic accent. The Filipino accent's a little bit almost, it could be confused for just, someone that came from a Hispanic culture. And so she does just fine on the phone. There is sometimes we call record everything. So I listen to the different calls, and there's times that there's a little friction because of accent. We also had sales team in Pakistan, super nice guy Wakas, but he also struggled because his accent sounded more Indian, although it was clear English, good speaker. That's one of the primary things. And it ended up making it harder for him to close jobs because we've all had bad Indian tech support, and you could hear the people get frustrated as soon as he asked a question twice. So these are variables, but in the Philippines, there's a lot of clear speaking. You wouldn't know. They just speak great English. It's because they have something like 500 different dialects. It's immense. Their culture, they have to speak multiple languages because there's so many languages, that they naturally have on their continent or islands.
Yeah, no, it's and that's the thing too, because again, we have this perception, Philippines, like, oh, they're gonna have that. And there are some that, or a lot of them, that just speak really good English. And even our Ronnie, like, we just hired her about 2 months ago, maybe a month and a half ago, to take on inbound, outbound calls. And there is some times where I'm like, all right, I can hear that, but for the most part, it is like, it's really, really good English, really good, translation, and the customers. It's not an issue. It's not like you get in one of those random phone calls where you hear the boop boop, and like right away, it's like, oh God, I'm speaking from Steve from India, or whatever it is. So, but they're part of your team. They want to grow with you. Like you said, she invested her own money to be better at what she's doing, and that's what I love about virtual rock. I like to call them rock stars, because they truly care about your company, and the efficiency, the willingness to want to learn and wanted to help you grow professionally and help them grow personally. Like you said, you were able to help them provide to buy a house, then a car. Uh, it's just so incredible. It's just like being able to go light up somebody's house here. We're doing so much for them over there by providing this job and being able to support them. And they're able to help support your team do the things they need to do here.
Yeah, you said it. It's just the truth. Yeah, they're great people, and so I'm really proud of the folks. And so I get to uplift a lot of these different teammates that we have throughout the world, because I can give new educational opportunities that are really job related. Things like app sheet design and building. Okay, you want to learn that? Learn it. I'll go get you some jobs. Go learn it. And so, and because the conversion for money is pretty low in comparisons over here, I literally can pay somebody their living wage to learn a new skill that will ultimately equal a much higher pay for them.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, we're going to get wrapping up here soon. If anybody's watching, they have a couple questions, please feel to go ahead and drop it in the comments. We've got about 5 more minutes. I don't want to take any more of your time away from you. I've really got, like, this is just, whoo, like so much. Like the application that you built there is incredible. So let's talk about that, because I'm sure people ask about it. Is it for sale? Like, can people buy into that? How does that work?
Yeah. So right now, our toolbox over here is for sale. So we brought on some clients. I mean, right now we're way into the Christmas light season. So it's not going to be very valuable.
Oh yeah, it's definitely not a good idea to get involved in anything like that right now.
Yeah, just survive. We're all in survival mode. But we have cool things like, in this toolbox here, we have some AI that helps us write content. So let's just show you here, kind of nerdy stuff. So we have this little AI part where we have different.
You got to share your screen again, Brennan.
Oh, sorry about that.
It's all right.
So, see if this comes up. See we there?
Get you in here real quick. There you go.
Okay. So here's one of our pieces of the toolbox. we have these assistants, virtual people that help us do stuff. Like this one here. This is the one that we go to for CLF, Christmas Lights Factory. It's our internal support. So what she does is write stuff. So I suck at writing. Like it's my Achilles heel. I suck at it. So I don't write anything. Basically, I tell my person here how to write something. So like if we're doing a project description, who writes it? Not me. This is my trained staff, and she's been trained on everything about our business, our prices, our what we have to offer, our keywords. All this stuff is in there. So when she writes content, it's just great. So in this case, I'm writing an email to some customers. They're asking, when am I scheduled for? We're getting a lot of that, of course. They go, well, yeah, I basically tell the bot, I explain to them that we work geographically, not by the calendar, but they'll be installed by Thanksgiving. So she writes this really nice little email, and then I do some tuning and I drop it off into our automated sequences. So that's just one of the tools. See, another great tool that we have in the toolbox here. Now, some of you guys know about Holiday Home Concepts.
Yeah.
Super great software. You get your measurements done. This is a key piece to how we are delivering so many estimates so quickly.
Love what Sarah's doing. Incredible software.
Incredible. She's brilliant. She's done a great job. And so, you can see we just have lots of designs in here. Of course, it refused at that point. Let it refresh. So anyways, that tool's in there working away. And there we go. Then we have all our communication, our websites hosted here, funnels. This is a fun one. The pink lights, because you gave me this idea. Let's go. We look at it. So yeah, this was based on what you said. So within 2 days, I had made a video, which I didn't have any photos of pink lights, right? So how did I do that? I went to AI and I said, put pink lights on a house, and it made some photos that were reasonable enough that we could convey the story. And so, this nice little yeah. And so it worked out really well. And so we got a lot of people to sign up through this. Well, we did 20 jobs. So like that one right there, AI generated. If you look at it, you can see it's impractical if you're an installer, but
right.
It gave enough of the
idea. No, I love this though.
Yeah.
I'm serious though. I really want to do a huge push for this next year. I think it's such a great impact. And if we can get, 100 installers to do 2 houses, I mean, one, the impact they have on the community, great training for their team early in the season, just so much to support for, just a great cause too.
I agree. And I think that we should really reach out. So those that are watching right now, how many would participate? Basically, you got to do the installations. I think I can donate a good portion of the materials. So I'll back you. You just
I mean, really, the big thing is the pink lights. I mean, they have the materials already. They have the. Did you do cool white or just did pink?
Pink and white. So we
did pink. Yeah, pink and cool white. What we did.
Yeah, so warm white's kind of our go-to on whites. So we did the pink and white, and it was really good. I have way more white than I have pink, obviously. Pink's a
Yeah.
limited
Yep.
stock, but the pink's
Yep.
never going to move. I mean, it's like I won't sell out of that at the end of the year, but I have to stock it. So this was great. I got a lot of pink moved, and it looked beautiful. I love doing pink and white. It's beautiful when you look at it. It's like, wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, we had one house, and we don't screen those that are applying. Like, we don't look at their gross income, houses, and anything like that. It's like literally we look at the story and we hang the lights. And we have one house that happened to be, it was 2 miles from my house, right on the ocean, the intercoastal, like maybe a 3-story house. I actually took the lift to go do the install because it was just easier to do that way. And then you could see the house from like a couple hundred yards away while driving up to it. And it was probably one of my favorite installs because, like, as I'm driving up to it the first night we did it, I could just see them from, like, I mean, it was probably a quarter mile away, like those lights shining. I'm like, oh my God, this is incredible. So it's never like, all right, well, we're looking for those who can't afford lights and blah, blah. No, we were looking for people who want lights up. Like, just send us the message. And guess what? The pink team's coming out. So
Yeah.
let's do a push next year.
Yeah, let's do it. Pink looks so beautiful too, and it's so distinctive. We do a
It
dance
is.
studio
It is.
in my
Yes.
town,
It's fun to be
and
able
I
to put it
drive
up.
by it. It's like, wow, I love that. It's like one of my favorites because you don't do it very often. It's so rare,
Yeah.
and when you do it, it's just beautiful.
Yep. Awesome. All right. So if anybody wants to reach out to you and find out about the software, what do you suggest?
Yeah, reach out to me. You can message me on Messenger, probably the easiest because that's where we're live right now. Or look up Christmas Lights Factory. Easy enough to reach out to me through that. And I'm here. I want to help you grow. So the tools I build are, primarily for myself, but they're going to help others. And that's one of my missions in this coming years. I really want to help other businesses grow and be able to help them achieve their dreams.
Brennan, I love it. I can't thank you enough for joining me on a Thursday night. I mean, we spent an hour talking about your incredible systems, how you're able to utilize virtual assistants to be so effective and efficient in growing your company year over year. I mean, I love what you're doing, the software you built out, the teams that you're able to build and just come back year over year and provide for them, provide for their families. Thank you. Thank you so much. And if anybody has any questions, again, feel free to reach out to Brennan. And we look forward to talking to you all soon. And be on the lookout because I promise you that we will be doing a campaign next year for the Light Up for Hope campaign. And I'll tell you what, I'll do this because I don't know if you saw the video we did. I will even go as far as helping build out the video for the campaign for people because I think that's a huge part of it is being able to raise awareness for the cause. So I'll put my editing team along with whoever wants to join this collaboration, sending us the content to make the video for you. So I'm so passionate about it that I want others to join for the right reasons and to be able to help out others.
Yeah, I love that. That's a commitment.
Next year, next year you and I were holding each other accountable, and let's do it. Let's call our shot right now. Let's get 50 companies next year, come August, September, to say we're going to do this and jump on the cause. I want 50 on the minimum, but I think we can easily find 50 companies to say, hey, we're going to support the cause. Again, not only are you giving back to the community, but you're providing training for your team and being able to support just an incredible cause. So,
and it's a great way to start the season because our teams are interacting with these warriors, and it really is inspiring. My teams all came out of the beginning of the season more pumped than I've ever seen them because what they did was so meaningful. It really locked like, oh, wait, we bring light to people's lives. That's what we do. And now that we're in the hard part of the season, that investment in my team's moral piece has kept the morale higher and helped us really keep moving forward.
Yeah, we had one of our customers actually come out and talk to us. She took a picture with us. She was able to share her story with us, and she was just so like the year prior. This is actually a really cool story. Give me 2 seconds to share this one. The year prior, she called us to do Christmas lights. She found out that she had breast cancer. Oh, my camera just went out. Don't worry about that. I'll just keep talking. And she found out she had breast cancer, and instead of doing the lights, she said, "I want to donate my money to breast cancer to help support them." And our team actually remembered her this year while we're doing this. And they reached out to her and said, "Hey, we want to give back to you because we care about what you care about." And she didn't reach out to us. We found her because of that message she was able to share with us. And she was so grateful, so happy to see us out there. And it was such a fun story for her to come out there, talk to us. We got a selfie with her. And it's just, it's like, it's right there. I mean, it really is. It's right there.
Yeah.
So
True.
All right, Brendan. Thank you so much. I'm going to sign off here. I'm going to
Yeah.
talk to you for a couple minutes after this, but I can't thank you enough for getting on. Feel free to reach out to Brennan, and we'll talk to you soon. Hope everyone's having a kick-ass season.